angry feminist rant.
Greek life is anti-feminist.
Greek life is a very, very specific way of formally organizing one's social life.
The Greek system is defined by behavioral norms and institutionalized relationships that naturalize gender segregation and sanction highly gendered courting rituals. Believe it or not, we find this highly problematic.
We're going to outline some of the reasons why the Greek system is fundamentally homophobic and misogynistic.
So if you want to know 5 things we hate about Greek life, just keep watching.
An obvious starting point for this argument, which is often taken for granted, is the fact that Greek life is separated by gender. Sororities are for girls or women, and fraternities are for
guys or young men.
And this may seem like no big deal, but hear us out. Number 1, this sucks because it reinforces the binary, aka the idea that there are 2 types of people, men and women. 2 neato little boxes to fit humans into, and if you don't really feel at home there, sorry weirdo, this world was not built for you.
There is a deep and wide spectrum of human identity that is beyond due for some goddamn recognition.
This is 2018, the binary sucks, and we're over it.
Closely related. 2, it reinforces harmful gender roles, aka the idea that people with penises and people with vaginas have such vastly different brains from each other that they must play opposite parts in the game of life. They have different interests, values, expectations.
For example, vagina people should wear white dresses and chit-chat and rank each other, and then make cutesy little glittery signs and sing creepy chants, because that's how we make friends, right? But bros should play beer pong with each other, every single night of August, and then decide who's cool enough to get peed on.
So Greek life not only says that there are 2 types of people, and 2 types of people only, it formally mandates that these 2 types of people should conduct themselves in very, very different ways.
Number 3, the same way that the Greek system by design relies on classism, for example, by being a pay-to-join lifestyle, Greek life also is fundamentally oriented around heteronormativity.
Heteronormativity is an ideology that assumes heterosexuality to be the natural, normal, supreme organizing principle of human life, against which all other types of relationships are read as deviant.
It is no secret that Greek life is, in part, a formalization of heteronormative dating and mating rituals. You can disagree with us if you want, but you're still wrong.
Let's do a thought experiment. What if every single person in Greek life was gay, bi, or genderqueer? What if no one in Greek life identified as straight?
The entire system would break down. The Greek system would not make sense. Without the assumption that everyone is straight, there would be no reason to do anything that Greek life currently does.
We have quite a few issues with Greek life, but centering heterosexuality in every way directly marginalizes people who don't fit these archaic models of human behavior. Heteronormativity in the Greek system is promoted in some of the following ways.
Number 4, Greek organizations are defined by heteronormative, conformist, racist, etc. codes of sexual appeal and sexual exchange.
Please take a moment to truly reflect on how Greek organizations are ranked. And don't pretend they're not, because we could head down to the freshman commons, poll 100 first years, and come out with the same list of top-tier frats and struts.
And while each seem to have their own unique but collective personality to some extent, sororities are pretty clearly organized by beauty, aka sex appeal. Frats are also ranked according to their relative attractiveness of their members to a degree, but bro status is also linked to wealth, charisma, charm, in a way that sister status is not. We would argue this has to do with how our society classifies male sex appeal versus female sex appeal.
These structures help build the foundation for a very elaborate transactional, heteronormative sexual culture.
Some of the common exchanges: you pay your frat dues, you buy booze, And in exchange, you get access to drunk college women to dance with, to make out with, to take back to your room. The better you are, the more highly ranked fraternities you might hope to pledge. And the more highly ranked your fraternity, the more highly ranked the sorority members who attend your parties will be, because strats are playing the same game here.
Think of how many frat bros you know who would still pay their dues if the parties they threw were only men allowed. Probably none. Because the implicit arrangement is men provide booze, women provide eye candy, dance partners, and pussy.
Oh, and sometimes really beautifully decorated coolers.
There are so many ways in which this is an issue, but we think that these cutesy little traditions play into rape culture. If you paid thousands of dollars to host a party and get girls drunk, aren't you at least a little bit entitled to ejaculate in at least one of them at the end of the night?
This is the unspoken promise of joining a frat, of paying to be in a club that offers you access to women. Perhaps it is because of this unspoken promise that fraternity men are more likely to commit sexual assault. That is not politics, it's not bias, it's not a witch hunt, that is what the data clearly demonstrates. This culture is not just cultural, but formally institutionalized and regulated.
At many schools, Greek women are not allowed to have booze in their houses, but frat houses are basically giant kegs with some shitty furniture floating around. Whether or not a house on Greek Row is allowed to serve alcohol depends on whether or not the powers that be think that the people who signed up for that club have penises or not.
Think about the power dynamic this sets up. Sorority girls are literally prohibited from throwing their own parties. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why Greek women are more likely to be sexually assaulted. If they want to have a good time, they must go to the male-owned, male-controlled frat house and drink the male-prepared jungle juice. This is madness.
So if you are a human in Greek life who identifies as a feminist, you might want to do some serious soul searching. Thank you for watching The Feminist Frontier. We hope we left you with something to think about.
For more feminist magic, like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
And don't forget to subscribe.
See you next week.
Are you
thinking about that?
That's fun.